So today we have Devine. She is a Zambia ArTeam member. She is a Lunatic Fringe master stylist, and she has been traveling all over the United States for many, many years, teaching at the trade shows. She has a very traditional teaching style, but always with a twist. So please, in the comments, let's welcome Devine.
Hello, good morning, everyone. So excited. We have so many people from all over different areas. I saw Vienna, Mexico, Texas. Welcome. We're happy to have you today. So we're going to get right into boho styling. So in the comments, how many of you guys do updos in the salon? Let me know. Do you feel comfortable doing them? What are some struggles that you may have? I know when I first started doing updos or styling, I overthought every single thing that I did. Like I'm talking everything I did. So I am here to just share any knowledge that's going to basically what has helped me in the salon be faster, be speedier. So I'm not taking a couple hours to do an updo, and maybe I'm just taking 45 minutes. So awesome. I see Marcy, you say you do them. If you guys have any struggles, please share and we'd love to answer the questions. So we're going to get right into it. I'm going to do 2 looks today. Everything's going to be using ponytails. So we're not creating a ponytail. We're going to create this twisted boho look. And we prep the mannequin with our 2-in-1 Marcel iron. I'll show you that. And I also use my heat protection with that, which is Iron Shape 11 by Redken. So I've already sprayed it on, but I'll just show you in the front here how we prep this. Now we're just using a mannequin. This is our Lydia from Pivot Point. Shout out to Pivot Point because we love these mannequins. They're great to practice on. We're going to start by taking our 2-in-1 iron. So here's what I want to show you. It's my favorite. If you use a Marcel in the salon, we have a Marcel version, so it spins. We have the spoon that lifts off, and we also have the spring iron. But what makes this one unique is that if you press a button on the back here, it says detach, and you can literally just take it off and it becomes a wand. So for this updo, I'm using the iron as a wand. Now, why am I doing that? Because I want to create a rope-like curl like you see happening. So I want to create a lot of texture at the top versus just the bottom. Think about, and I'm letting this heat up, which doesn't take very long. It's already warm. But as we chat, I'll let it heat up. So as I go through and curl, if I were to put the spoon on, like I use the iron exactly how it came, I put it in the spoon, you'll notice that it starts getting smoother at the top and most of the curl lives towards the bottom. It also gets a little flatter at the top because we're using the spoon to smooth. And you can even twist it out and whatever, but it'll still have a different result than as if we do like a mini spiral tongue set. So here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to hold it a little awkward so you guys can see, but I'm going to lift this cord over my shoulder here. I'm taking the wand and I'm just going to wrap it around and I'm going to leave the ends out for this look. So I want to leave the ends out right here and I'm not going all the way up to the base. And I just want to create this nice little curl pattern. Now I curled this last night. It gave it time to relax a bit. In the salon, what I usually do is I would curl the whole head because I need that kind of texture that's happening. And I'm going to take the front away from the face because I know I'm going to sweep it back. And I'm just going to wrap it around. Once I'm finished with this, I like to let all my curls cool down. Now, why do you think that is? When you guys are in the comments, type, why would I let my curls cool down before I start going through and putting the hair up? Okay, as you let that, or as you guys start answering that, I have this setting on the color treated setting right now, but with our iron, what we have is different settings. So you're gonna notice that, and it might be bright, but we have a red right there, and then we can turn it off. We have a green, the low setting. This would be for someone that has no color on their hair. It's in great condition. Maybe they have lightener on their hair, and we wanna keep the heat lower. And then just for a little higher heat, but maybe they have color on it, there's a yellow setting. That's so that the color molecules aren't burning out of the hair. We're not losing that vibrancy in our color because our tools get way too hot lately. So that's why we've made this 2-in-1 iron. It's going to control the heat for us. We're going to keep the integrity of the hair. Okay, so I'm also going to go in, spiral away from the face. And I see we want to maintain the structure by allowing the cuticle to close. Absolutely. Thank you for that. That was by, it says Facebook user, but whatever your name is, thank you. Yeah, we want to let those bonds cool down. So as we start curling hair or forming it, even when you dry it, wet to dry, our hydrogen bonds are open. or they're disrupted. And when we cool them down, they're going to close in the formation that we have going on. So if we're going to let it cool down completely, it means those bonds are going to completely seal up and it's going to have more memory to the hair, right? So we want to make sure it's cooled down. So I'll typically send my guests to grab a snack maybe, or I'll step away and pick all the products I want to use at the time. I don't typically pull on my products until I feel my guest's hair, because would you agree? Everyone has a different type of texture. Some people actually, I feel if I use too much like grit or dry texture powder or whatever it be, and whatever it may be, and their hair's finer, it's actually going to weigh the hair down a little too much for me. So maybe I need to find more of a powdery kind of product. And we're going to show you some different products too. So I'm just going to continue. Annette, thank you. I see you now. We're just going to continue curling these away from the face. And I wanted to talk too about like why boho, like what's the difference of boho versus something maybe more modern. So I like we say boho, and this is how I think of boho, is there's a lot more texture to it. It's going to be a bit more messy and undone. I would say that's my personality. I like, I guess my taste that I have. I like to do a bit more like tousled, natural, lived-in hair versus something that's going to be super sleek and like taut to the head. So boho is really the difference, in my opinion, is just going to have a little bit more texture to it, and it's going to be a little bit more messy, right? So as these curls cool, let's show you how to get a little bit more volume in that base or crown area. So we're going to go in now with our texture iron. So this is our Sanvia texture iron. I have it on the low setting right here. It's on the green setting. Down at the bottom, we have high color treated low, so it's easy to find as well. Now this is going to just explode the texture. So if I want to get a little bit of lift back here, I'm just going to hit it with my texture iron. Now I've already put iron shape in this, so I don't need to add extra heat protection. But this is an awesome, awesome tool. I use this in the salon for guests. They leave with it too. Like my guests like using this. Anytime I've worked on someone that struggles with volume and they don't want to tease and they don't want to back comb, or maybe their hair just drops when they tease or back comb it, this texture iron is a game changer. So I'm going to go in and just tap at the root area, just in that crown, and I'm going to go underneath so that we don't see it. Okay, let me spin so you guys can see. And you'll notice as we do this, just a couple taps right here, you're going to see a little bit of crimping right there. So hard to see from far away. We're not trying to make it known. It's going to be hidden underneath. Okay, so I'll do this in the crown area or anywhere that my guest struggles to hold shape and volume. And then you can actually back comb on top of it, and it just locks it into place super easily. So I'm going to clip this up and out of the way. Boho is more natural, Claudia says, not like a helmet. Absolutely, yeah. Which I love, like a sleek, modern look too. I feel like, oh, this is like years ago. I'm probably going to show my age here, but back in the day, like Eva Longoria was like, I feel like the OG of that kind of messy updo. Because before we were kind of going in and doing really high, mid to high updos, which are totally coming back again. So we were like wearing the hair up top. And then when she went to all these like premieres and stuff, she had these super low, messy buns. And I feel like that's kind of how it all started, in my opinion, for my career of length that I've had. I'm sure people have been wearing it low and messy for a while, but so someone just said, can you please tell how curls become long lasting? So that key would be using correct product, which why I'm using Iron Shape 11. It has hold in it, right? So we have a little bit of a medium hold right there. It also has heat protection. And then as we curl, we're going to allow our curls to cool down, meaning I'm not going to curl the hair and immediately rake through it. We're going to let those bonds kind of cool, heal, and then they're going to help mold and create that shape and give a little bit more long lasting. Okay, so great question. Thank you for that. Right here where I've given that little crimp in that base area. Now, sometimes I'll do this up top too. So just depends where. I'm going to just show you from this angle. Actually, we're going to move so I get a better little visual here. This is where that crimping has been done. I'm just going to take my tail comb, lift that section, and then I'll just lightly back comb on it. And look at how it locks it into place. So it's just going to lock it into place. Sometimes when we back comb, notice we have to go really hard and really intense, and it's going to just be a little bit messy. Once I do a little back combing, I'm just going to slightly, I guess I want to say like paw at this section, because I don't want to comb it out completely, but I just want to smooth it, right? So we're just going to smooth a bit, and I'll go through and maybe just do a little bit more right up top here, right where that crimping is. Clip that out of the way. And I think the main thing with updos, and you guys talk to me too, like I just used to overthink it all. And really, when I look at someone's hair, like this mannequin doesn't have extremely long hair. I used to think that was a bad thing. I used to think everyone needed long hair. I mean, for real, how many guests have you had that has a wedding coming up and they're like, I'm growing my hair out. I'm growing my hair out. And I'm like, it doesn't really matter. Like, as long as you have some length that we can put up, you don't really need to grow your hair out. That's really cool. I saw that Connie said Cleopatra was the queen of the Shenyang. I love that. That's so cool. Little history lesson too. I'm into it. Okay, so think about, we don't need tons of length. Now, if someone has long hair, can you still do this? Of course. Like in the imagery that you saw for this class, the mannequin had very long hair. This time we're going to work with a little bit medium length hair here. Okay, now that we have our texture in, I'm going to put a little bit of product. Let's see. I'm going to go with, this is going to be some volume spray. So dry texture spray. It's by Verb. I'm going to use some of that at the base of it. And then I'm also going to go in my Colton King jelly. This is a really great local made in Utah where I'm living product. Comes in glass bottles. It's refillable, so we're doing less waste. It's called Colton King. This is the product jelly. So it's pink Himalayan salt. It's going to give a little bit of texture. And I'm just going to rub it in my hands. And then I'm almost just going to shuffle it between my hands. So I'm going to go through and just rough up the texture just a little bit. And as I go through and get that product in there, it almost dries in a little bit different than when it's wet. I'm just trying to create a little bit of texture, little volume to it. Cool. Now that the front's curled, I can rake through it a bit and put that product into place. So when building or when doing an updo, I think it's important to build your product in. Sometimes going right in with hairspray, it's just too much, right? So we want to make sure we're using lighter products and then go into stronger products. So this one's pretty light in my opinion. It goes on really nice and clear. There's not going to be any residue, but I'm just getting a little bit of texture within each section that I'm placing it. Same thing right here. Go through the curls. I'm going to rake with my hands and right here. With updos, it's really all in the setup. So you really want to get in there and do a good curl set. Remember, keep your curls up towards the base more so they're not just all at the bottom. Because we want to pull back. We want to see some of that texture. We want to see a little bit of roughness up there too. Like I'm okay with frizz. That's definitely something to ask your guests, like what they're looking for, what they're into. And then when we take our product, this is just going to give a little nice rough texture to it. And it just builds those waves a little bit better right there. Okay, so now that we got that product in, we're going to just go in and we're going to start taking our ponytails back. And I see we said, are you using any texture powder on black hair? So if someone has darker hair and you're using a texture powder, like myself, I use this all the time. I typically just go underneath with it because I don't need it on top only. The reason I'm using a texture powder is to build volume in there and a little grit. So I like to spray underneath and I have no issues with residue transfer. Great question. Just get a little bit of volume, especially when you're working with shorter hair. Like this would be considered shorter hair possibly for an updo. We just want to use products that are going to build volume but not weigh it down too much. And I always list, and I teach my guests this too when I'm selling them any kind of volume spray. Spray from underneath just so that you're getting that volume, that texture underneath. Okay, so now let's go in and start adding our ponytails. So this is just going to be a super easy way to just give the start of an updo. I know when I first started doing updos, I would maybe take like a ponytail or some kind of bun and just take pieces and start clipping it back. Totally fine, but time is money, right? So we want to speed things up a bit. And we also want to do it with intention. If I take too many sections, I might not get the same kind of lived in feel that I'm looking for. Now, I'm going to get her head straight here. Okay, she's got long hair, but what I would typically ask my guests too, like, do you want to leave some pieces out? We can leave some out. That's a little in her face. So if it's too long, I'll go kind of right at that temple area and I'll start leaving pieces out around there. One thing I always do is I ask my guests like what pieces they want out. So we'll work on that together. We're going to take a couple sections. So I'll drop that. We're going to take a couple of sections, maybe 3 to take this back. So here's my first one. I'm going to do this together so we can make sure it looks good from the front. I got that chosen. Now let's just take a little slice. Now, as I do this, I'm going diagonal forward, meaning if I had a marble on this, it would roll forward. I'm doing that because that's going to help easily let me pull that back. Okay, let's grab little hairs to leave out. Maybe we'll just do a random one up here. Doesn't really matter. It's whatever your guest feels comfortable, what's going to make them feel the most beautiful. Maybe it's just an event they're going to. It doesn't have to be a wedding. This could be something that if you're just going somewhere fancy, maybe you're going out to date night or somewhere special, it's just an easy way to create a lived-in sort of updo. All right, so here we have our 2 sections in the front. Boom, there they are in the back. We're going to take an elastic now. Now I'm going to cover this back part a little more. We're eventually going to pinch and kind of pull and fluff, but I'm just going to hold these and I'm just going to take an elastic and we're going to secure it right at the back just a couple times. All right, so now where this opening is, I'm going to take like a peace sign and we're just going to spin it and pull. Okay, once I get there, I'm creating just the start of the top of the chignon, if you want, or bun that you're going to make. I'll start pulling these a little bit, but typically when I finish, I'll start pulling quite a bit more. Okay, so there's one, and we're going to repeat those steps. How are you guys doing out there? Do you have questions yet? Anything you want to advance in, talk about with updos? I'm going to take another slice, and I'm going to take a good amount of hair here. I'm not going to take the entire section. So see right here, this is probably about top of the ear. And I'm just going to leave that hair hanging down. And I'm just taking a little piece from the front there, dropping out any hair we might want to leave. On the next one, I'll probably leave a little more in front. And we're just going to take it to the back and do the same thing on the other side. So it's folding over the hair that's down. Okay. Take our clip, just hold it in place while I get the other side. Cool. And I see some people saying, like, what are the best products? I think, once again, it depends on the hair you're working with. With more of like a lived-in kind of feel, if you're looking for, I want to say like messier looks, I like to stick with like a dry texture spray, or we're going to go in with maybe more dry texture spray, and then a really lightweight hairspray. So typically I like to work with like a workable, buildable product when I'm doing updos. And the reason is because in the past, in my career, I have done just hairspray. I was just trained to hairspray it down so it doesn't move. But now things move a lot. We want hair to move. We want it to look natural. I mean, have you ever had a guest come in to get their hair done, like upstyled? And they said, I just want it to look like I did it myself, but better. I've had that so many times. They want people to think, oh, wow, they just tossed it up and they look naturally that great, but so much work went into it. So something that's going to make it feel lived in. Here we go again. Going to give a peace sign, go up behind that, and you're just going to flip that inside out and pull. Okay, and once we finish, we'll kind of blend all these together too. But I would say work with something buildable. Like I'm going to pull a hairspray by Redken. It's called Fashion Work 12. That's the one I'm going to work with for locking it into place. But I'm also going to go in too with like a shine spray, because think about texture sprays, volume sprays. They're all pretty matte. They don't have a high shine to them. And I just like seeing a little bit more of a shine with my updos. So once again, personal preference. Okay, we're taking another slice from the front right here. I'm just going to clip it in the back to hold my spot. And then we'll move to the opposite side and take another slice. Okay, just above the ear, I'm going to pull some more hair right here. It's very Game of Thronesy with the long tendrils. Game of Thrones. I heard that they're coming out with a new season of that, by the way. So maybe we'll get some really cool hair inspiration, because that is another place I feel like we got a lot of like braid inspiration from and styling inspiration, which I think is super cool. Okay, here we go again. Something super simple, right? Let's just take another elastic. You can use whatever color because they're going to be hidden. I like dark on dark hair. And we're going to secure. Just wrap it around. I also like to keep my ponytail as flat as possible as I wrap this. Notice I'm not like twisting the hair. I'm keeping the hair stable in one spot as I do it. Okay, take that peace sign, go up behind, and we're just going to flip. Going to pull up. Okay, so now I'm going to start kind of pinching and pulling. And you could honestly stop right there too. This is another thing, like with updos, proms, dances, whatever celebrations happen in your country, your area. Some people want it a little fancier, and then some people want it just half up and leave their hair down. This could be done so quickly in the salon, and you don't have to take a bunch of hours doing it or making it look perfect. It's just going to take a little time. Now, as you pinch and pull, I'm holding each ponytail as I do it. So it's very lightly just pinching and just pulling out some extra pieces. Let's see if I can get closer here. And I'm holding on to those elastics just so I don't pull too much out. Also up to you. Like, does your guest want to see more width on the side? Then you're going to pinch and pull more. Does it bother them to have it super slick in the back? Like, you could even take a smaller iron to do this. I use our inch iron, or a bigger iron, excuse me. You could do a bigger iron if you don't want to see as much texture on the sides. So you could use a large iron to wrap it around as well. So you could stop right here and have just a nice little half updo, super quick, right? Kind of Renaissance-y. But let's take it to the next level and put it up. And then once it's up on the bottom, I'll start putting some hairpins in to secure our elastics there as well. So not overthinking it. I'm going to get right in the back here. Okay, and I'm just going to take 2 ponytails. So I'm just going to grab with my hands because this is a pretty lived-in feeling. I'm going to take another elastic, and now we're just going to put a ponytail on the right side, and then we'll put a ponytail on the left side. Okay, keep it nice and tight. So then I'll go through, and I'll probably spray some more texture spray in this ponytail to give it some volume in that as well. So not a lot of back combing going on. If someone has hair that's a little finer, or if it's a little shorter, I definitely would back comb these ponytails just to give that. And maybe we want to. Let's see how we do. Maybe let's back comb it to show you guys. So go nice and tight on this ponytail. So you're just creating like 2 little pigtails at the back right there. Secure it. Okay. So you could do a couple different things. Here, you could start back combing and just tossing it up in a bun like that. You could go through and start twisting it, which is kind of what my plan was here. So if you twist to get texture and pull, it's just going to build more texture within that kind of bun area. So let's do that. Super easy. So all we're going to do is let's get some more texture spray in there. I'm going to move this up a bit. More texture spray. That's just going to help build volume. Use the favorite of your choice. I'm using Verb. This is the volume dry. It's got a light hold. And I'm just going to go in the ponytail. I want it messy, so I'm not going to be too concerned about if it's too messy, right? and I'm just going to spray up into the ponytail. Look at the difference that you see from when we just sprayed it to this one. So you see how you get all this volume at the top? That's what we're looking for right there. Cool. Spray and give volume. So then once we get this in, we can start accessorizing too. And I'm just going to give a little twist to these, and then we're going to elastic the ends. So that's the other thing too. Like if you have someone coming in for a style, ask if they're going to wear anything in their hair. Sometimes it's fresh flowers. Sometimes it's some fun accessories they've bought. But you want to make sure that you're doing something that's going to complement that accessory as well, if that makes sense. So we have some fun ones to choose from. Just a little twist and elastic at the ends. All right. If you guys are feeling good, show some love in the chat. Send some hearts, ask some questions, whatever you may be doing. Okay, here we go again. I'm holding that elastic and just pinching up. And I'm just doing ponytails because it's easier to twist and honestly secure. It gives me a little foundation down here to secure too. So here we go. We're just going to start wrapping it. And I'm just going to secure that first on the side. I'm going to grab a bobby pin to start. Right? Bobby pin to the start. Here we go. Wavy side. Where are we at? Wavy side against the scalp. So I'm just going to secure one. And I always like to cross my bobby pins. So I'm almost making like an X with them. Get that out of the way so you can kind of see here. Wherever you are holding your updo to feel secure, like as I held over, I was pinching it right there. That's where I'm going to actually use or put my bobby pin. So wherever it feels comfortable to hold, right here, I'm holding underneath, if you can see right here. So that's where I'm going to place my pin. So I'm going to go right at it and just go up. I'm taking that pin like this, just so you can see. It goes straight and then it goes up into the hair. So I'm going right at the scalp, finding that other bobby pin, locking. I'm always asking if it's comfortable for my guest. Okay, so I'm going to get to the side profile here so I can see. This stuff we're just going to pull over, and I'm just going to put my finger right inside that and start to secure as well and hide those elastics. Cool. Awesome. So as we go through, I mean, honestly, we were just doing some updos in the salon Wednesday, and I was with my coworker and I said, sometimes updos are all about just hiding the hair. It's just, where can I put the extra hair? So if you think about it, if someone has like a lot of hair and you're struggling with where to put that hair, think of like doing braids, because braids are going to condense that hair more. Put some braids in it, or ponytails are really what help guide me to find where I need to place things. So like this little piece right here, where can I hide it? I'm just going to push it up and bobby pin. Now I'm going to start taking hairpins. Okay, so hairpins I'm going to use, let's see right here. I'm going to use hairpins when I want to keep that lightness to the updo, but I'm not trying to really secure. Like it feels secure now. So I just want to start placing hair and just kind of giving it a light hold to it. I'm going to come through, start showing you kind of the back here. She's held her head crooked this whole time. And then I'm just going to start pinching, pulling. And if there's any separation in this top part, you just take your hairpins, and I'm going to hold her up so you can see. Take your hairpins and just start weaving them in and down. So I'm just going to secure those together. But we want to keep it really nice, light, airy as possible. Cool. So we have our little chignon updo. If you want to really boho it out, you can do some accessories. We might use this one in the next one. I have this fun little crystal one. Roger gave me this. Oh, as I hit the computer. But you could put it right on top if you want, wherever it feels right. So right there, super easy, quick styling. It's going to look different at every length that you do. If you twist it different, it'll sit different. But super fast way just to get the hair up and keep it really light and airy. So let's do one more. And this one's even faster. So we're going to do a quick one real quick. I'll grab my other mannequin. If you learned something there, type it in the little chat box. What'd you learn? What helped you out, right? So this mannequin I curled and then I brushed through. So typically, and I totally didn't finish it with the hairspray I was going to, but this is the Fashion Works 12 that I would like to use. So if I'm trying to get any frizz down, I'm just going to spray my brush with it. This is our Artist Series paddle brush. Why I love it is because it has that bore and pins in it, so it's going to get it nice and smooth. If I want to lay any frizz down, if I just want to comb through the waves, just going to use that lightly on the hair. So on this one, it's going to be, I would say this is something you can do on your own hair. This is super easy, just a way to throw it up. You could use it for a look too, but I don't want it straight, but I don't want a lot of curl to this one because I'm going to sort of pinch and add my own texture. Also, I want to maybe if I want to do a little volume, I would go in with my texture iron again, which I'm going to add just a touch. Okay, so maybe someone wants that lived-in feel, but they don't want all that texture at the top. So before, where we did the 1-inch iron and we wrapped it around, kind of like a spiral or like a telephone cord, if you guys remember what a telephone cord is. I said that and I'm like, wait, when's the last time I saw a telephone cord? It's been a long time. But yep, we're just going to go through. I'm taking a little slice and I'll just pinch again, right? So this is just going to be a little texture at that base area. Same thing as before, right? Take a section, clip it away. When I'm doing this, I don't want to take a large section. I find that if I take a thinner section, like 1/4 of an inch, I'm going to get the best results. That's just my opinion. And I also like to skip sections. So if I just did the texture iron, I'm going to take a slice where I don't do it. And then I'm taking another slice where I do crimp it. Hi, Twyla Jane. I see you. And just comb that out a little bit. So I'm just going to get a little bit of lift. So here's another product option that I like. So if you're looking for a little bit more grip, I'm going to do Powder Grip 03 or some kind of like puffing. Like I also use Oribe in the salon. They have a great product called Swept Up. And it's where you just put a little bit of powder or grip to it underneath, and it's just going to lift, give you some nice light texture. And so if you see kind of the result, it's just going to be extra lift right there. I'm not going to go too crazy with it. This stuff can get sticky fast if you're using any kind of like powder grip to it. So I'm just going to get a little bit of grit. It's very matte. So on this one, I'll definitely go with my shine spray. And same thing right here.
Hey, Ellen.
Yes. Like I inhale that stuff.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to inhale that stuff. Since you're using a powder there,
Yes.
This is a good time to ask Jamie's question, which is what would be the difference between using a texturizing powder versus a texturizing spray?
Like it. Thank you. Okay, so Jamie, I'm using a texturizing powder for this one just because I wanted to focus it kind of at the root. And I feel personally it gives a little bit more of like a messier look. So I didn't have it curled all the way up to the base. So I needed a little bit more of a foundation up there, if that makes sense. This is my opinion. When I'm using like a texturizing spray, I get good volume to it. But at the top, I can sometimes just not get enough, right? If it's straighter, I feel like these just give me more texture and movement versus the powder gives me a little bit more lift. And that's just my opinion and my discoveries as I work this way. So if you guys have any other ways that you feel, definitely share it. So yeah, I think I'm just using that little powder at that root area just to give a little bit of that messy texture, but it builds that loose volume and not as much texture, but volume. So I'm getting more lift out of it. Great question. At this front here, I just took a zigzag parting. Now I did that because I'm going to pull this just low into the back. Do you have to do a zigzag part? No, but it looks cool, right? No, it's going to just give less of like an obvious part because this is going to be a little bit sleeker, less curl texture. You're just going to have more roughness in texture. And I say texture, but really it's just a little bit more lived in feeling, I should say. So when you take your zigzag parting, just with your tail comb left to right, and then land at the part that they're going to wear. This mannequin's wearing a middle part. So we're just going to spin here. I'm going to pull this hair back just to start. And then I'm going to pick out my pieces in the front on the other side. Okay. Coming in front. And this one's definitely going to be a little bit more sleeker, but super easy, super cool. I find a lot of like inspiration now through social media as well. Like I definitely didn't make this one up or anything. This is just something I saw on TikTok that I thought was really unique and really cool. So I'm just sharing it with you guys because it's nice. It's fun to learn something new, to practice something new that you haven't done before. So I'm going to take my Artist Series paddle brush. Twyla Jane said the powder grip is more of a gritty feeling. I agree. The texturizing is a lighter finish. It's not as sticky. And that's why I said I don't think powder grip is for everyone. Even when I'm putting it on clients, I ask them do you mind a little bit of a gritty feeling in your hair? And if they're like, I hate that, I won't use that on them. I'll go with a little cleaner feeling, which would be like a texture spray. So thanks for that, TT. If you guys don't know Twyla Jane, she's an ambassador of ours, does awesome classes. She's an awesome colorist, does cutting. She does it all. They are awesome. Check them out on social media. Okay, so here we are. We're just going to do a low pony. And I'm going to start just kind of pinching a little bit, just a touch, and I'll go in more in a sec. And this is also where you can ask your guests, do you want your ears covered or do you want them to show? If this is like a wedding scenario, I definitely ask because some people want to wear earrings maybe or jewelry. I'm going to bring this up higher. Okay, so this one's going to be super quick. So low pony, and then we're just going to come through right behind that ponytail. I'm going to take that peace sign that we keep talking about right there, and I'm passing the entire ponytail through, and I'm just going to pull up. So you're going to start getting this kind of texture to it, right on it. Okay, now we're going to go right here, grab another elastic like so. I'm going to place that. Okay, and now same thing. We're just going to pass it through. And I'm just going to fluff a bit. So I just am doing twists. I'm just doing a peace sign through the ponytails and twisting it through. So now let's puff it a little bit more here. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to put some product in that because see, that feels like too clean to me. So we got powder grip on the other one. Let's just continue with the powder grip. So since we were talking about that sticky feeling, this is another reason I like to build product in, because how many of you have ever been doing an updo or styling and you're almost finished and you're realizing you don't like how it looks, and then you take it out, then you have to recurl it and you're just not feeling it the entire time. So it's harder to go through and alter what you've done when you've put a lot of product in there. So build your product in. This looks much nicer to me. It's a little bit fuller. I'm going to take that elastic. And same thing, split the hair, pass that bottom ponytail through. Crystal, it is so frustrating when that happens, right? It's frustrating, but I'm like, okay, every time I do an updo, I really do learn from it. I'm sure you guys do too. Every time I do one, I'm like, oh man, I really get on myself. Either I love it, I hate it. And if I don't like it, I am definitely the type of personality, take it down and do something else, right? So whatever's going to make them feel best. And I always give them a mirror to check it out as we go too. Okay, here we go. So I got that, puffed it out. See if we can get closer here. I'm literally just going to start spinning until it feels right. And I'm going to secure right here. This is great for short hair. If someone has really short hair, this is going to be such a quick, easy way to do a low bun. And I'm just going to continue pinning. It is a learning experience every single time. In my opinion too, you got to mess up. You have to mess up a few times. Truly the only way that we learn in this life in general is by making a mistake, right? And I'm not just saying that to make everyone feel better. the only reason I know what to do now is because I've messed it up in the past. So it's definitely a learning experience every time. And that's what makes you a great artist and a great hairdresser, because you learn every time you do something new. And, you know, just to say, like, don't be scared to take on something new. If you have any reservations about doing updos, like, find a model, get a mannequin, just practice, find some inspiration online, or just ask a friend. Like, if someone's really good at it, ask them to teach you. What's going to help you? How do you learn? Is it watching videos? Is it actually physically doing it? Definitely reach out. I learned how to do updos just, I think it was like my second year working as a hairdresser. I worked with a coworker, Amy, and she was awesome. She was the one that did all the weddings. She did everything. And I just thought that was so cool. And she asked me to come along and help her. And I was super nervous, but I knew that I wouldn't get anywhere if I didn't try it. So she was there to guide me. In the long run, I eventually started working with like wedding planners and doing things that actually just focused on weddings. And it's not just my entire focus, but it's something that I think is good to have on your resume, if you will. So just to accessorize, I got these off Amazon. Okay. So you can do anything. Like, we have this fun guy, you know, start thinking, where could you put it? Do you want to put something like this up top? You want to wrap it around? I really like these hairpin ideas. So with this, I'm just going to go up and stick that in. So just start accessorizing. And I truly think the accessories are what make a look, in my opinion, go from good to real good. I see, how do you keep the curls in for the entire night? I have some fine haired clients with super long hair, and we'll see the curls loosen up within a couple hours. So my suggestion would be, when you're curling, even if you're doing that spiral tong that we talked about, say you're wrapping it around the iron like so, you want to take any kind of pin curl clips that you have and you want to set it. So just like back in the day, like, do a full set and let that, allow it to cool so that when you drop it, you get more of a rotation. Also be aware of your product choices. Like, don't go right in with a heavy hairspray right away or something that's going to make it way down. Start buildable. I really like that Redken Fashion Work 12. I'll show it again because it does hold, but it's not super heavy. You can build it, meaning the more you spray it, the stronger it'll be. Okay. So this would be the final look. Super quick, super easy. If any of the little pieces sticking out bother you, smooth them down a bit. They don't really bother me. I like that. And then if you want to add shine, I really like this one. It's the Ghost Oil, or it's the Ghost Dry Oil spray. And I'll just go through and give that a little spray as well. That's just going to give it a little bit more shine so it's not so matte. And if you want to add more texture, all you do is pinch and just grab little strands one at a time. I think as hairdressers, and maybe I'm speaking for myself, I know for myself, I used to think that if I didn't spend an hour on someone's hair, they didn't think they were getting the value out of it. And that's just not true anymore. I think the value comes from delivering in the style that you give, as well as getting them out on time. If they have pictures, like, what are they going to do? Like, what time do they need to be there? Just be aware of your time with them, respect it, and you'll grow your business super well. So that's it. We got our 2 looks. Feeling good.
Awesome.
What's up, Andrew?
This was beautiful and great tips. And as always, everything is very salon friendly, which makes sense because that's what you do. You're a salon hairdresser. So, of course, you teach things that are very easy to approach and very realistic with clients. So just fantastic.
Totally. Thank you. Yeah. And if you guys need anything, reach out. My Instagram is Devine Hair. Also, I wanted to mention that we're doing the affiliate program. So where if you guys want to be an affiliate with Sam Via, you can check that out on the website. If you're interested in getting any products, say you want to try the texture iron, my code is LND10 and you can get an extra 10% off. But join the kind of affiliate family if you're interested as well. And reach out if you need anything.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ellen.
Thanks, Andrew.